Where the fuck am I?
Hello everyone and welcome back. Hopefully you enjoyed the skit just now. Thanks to my friends I was able to film that because I really did not want to do one more of those me in airport explaining where I'm going travel sequence. I want to do something a bit more special, if anything. I'm not very good at it, but I will also be doing 2 more of those further this year because I am going to Japan and maybe Taiwan. I'll think about that for now. It's a plan in the future. But that's a spoiler, so I am not going to talk too much about that. Anyways, I am back in Hong Kong, and as you can see, it's summer. It is just horrible. I am absolutely drenched because it is hot, humid, and absolutely horrible. But me being me, I honestly don't know why I'm out of photos. Well, I have a reason why. I'll elaborate on that a little bit further. But right now, I am at the what do you call this place? Old Mental Hospital. It's appeared in my videos twice. Once right here, the first video of 2024, and the other time, that one. However, me being me, there are some issues with this place. That always happens all the time. So, right behind me are these arches which I was planning to do a photo of. And as you can see, there are white, well, arches. That's the best way I can describe them. They're for the light exhibition at night. So at night, these things do light up and they look quite cool, making this place a lot less spooky because people don't like it for what it used to be. Old mental hospital, you know, patients, all that. But it kind of ruins the aesthetics during the day because there's no way I can just Photoshop these white arches out, right? I mean, I could try, but it's not going to look as good. However, this time I do have the 70-200 with me, which means that I do have quite a lot more options than just limiting myself at 70mm. So I'm likely going to shoot along this, well, corridor, the short one, right behind me, instead, and see if I can get one more shot maybe along these fences. I don't really know how to describe these things. But either way, as always, I'm going to do some B-roll. This time, hopefully a lot better, but these white arches are just bothering me, honestly. But yeah, B-roll and probably a set up the shot. Alright, first shot in Hong Kong, and this took me way too long to set up despite it being relatively simple and easy because the weather is just absolutely bloody horrible. Look at this. The midday sun out there, the harsh lights shining in, and this, well, the green doors and the red bricks don't really reflect light that well. So it's harsh light over here and it's all shadows in here. I think you can also see it on my face. So the lighting situation is going to be challenging. Anyway, let's take a look at what I'm using. 70-200 f2.8 at 100mm to compress the background because it's a relatively short corridor compared to, you know, the one behind me. I want that one, but can't exactly shoot that. F5.0 because everything above that is going to be absolutely blown to oblivion. I do want a little bit more bokeh, so I might adjust that. So editing me, let me know what aperture I'm actually using in the photo. Vertical composition to focus on the doll a bit more than I usually would prefer. I do want to do horizontal, but I think this one looks a bit better. As for the lights, one light on top of the camera, this LED is just for the eyes, just for the reflection and just for that little sparkle in the eyes instead of everything else. As for the flashes, I'm gonna hold one right up here. You might say, hey, why aren't you putting it against the wall or something? Because when I tried, everything looked like it was lighting up from this side, which means it's unnatural. And it looked really weird, so I'm just going to use this at a medium-ish output right in front of the face like this. Hopefully that lights up all right, not too bad, not too unnatural. And the light right there is going to help me with that because as you can see over there, it's all shadow, it's all very, very dark. Hopefully that provides a backlight for the blackish outfit. It's a blackish gown and the hat. Hopefully that light provides the outline and doesn't make the whole thing blend in the background. Anyway, enough rambling and let's take a look at the shot. I would say good enough. It's not really that special. However, seeing that it's promotional images and I might return to this place when they eventually do remove those things over there. So yeah, this is more of a filler-ish content shot. I will have to finish up this outfit and see if I can get more photos of it, do the promotional stuff, and probably head out from here because I really do need more water. I'm running out and it's so hot that I can't really stand this. Anyway, let's pack up. Finally, I have finished packing everything into my bag, and thankfully, if not for the slight wind along this corridor, I think I would have just collapsed at this point. Look outside. This is horrible. It's so hot, so humid out there that honestly, I don't think I can continue filming outdoors like this. I will probably go find somewhere that's slightly indoors with a little bit of aircon and take a bit of a break before I continue with the videos. So I have decided that I will likely not film me walking and traveling to the next location. Instead, I'll do this in 3, 2, 1, and we're back. This is Harbour Station outside Causeway Bay. It's a little bit of a walk, and those of you who have watched the first video of 2024, I think it's this one right up here, will remember this place. It's quite a special one because you don't exactly find these train cars sitting just, right here for you to take photos of, and they're not moving. I mean, technically speaking, you could do this on an actual train, but not really a big fan, at least for myself. So, I have been here before, and these are the photos right up here. I plan to maybe replicate the success from last time. So this photo, I think I shot around here also, with a 35 or 28mm. I plan to recreate this one, but with a more telephoto angle, maybe 70, 100, maybe across that direction. I'm not too sure, but for me now, I'm more used to telephoto and I want to try something a little bit different. As for the photo inside the train car, I am going to try something a little bit special. It's very hard to describe when I'm outside like this, so I am going to skip forward inside and see if I can test that concept. It's not going to be a very good photo, I'm pretty sure of that, but it's more of a concept testing in case I do find something that's more, what's the word? Aesthetically pleasing in Taiwan or Japan, because I am planning a trip to there a little bit further down the year. So without further ado, I think it's time for me to go inside, pack everything out, and maybe see if I can get rid of the kids inside because they are just running around like a bunch of idiots. Hopefully they don't knock anything over. So without further ado, let's go inside and go suffer. After quite a long setup process, here I have the, first shot of this place set up. I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure if this is the second or third shot of this video, but I'll assume it's the second one, so yeah, let's go explain this one before I continue rambling on. 7200 f2.8 at 100mm, f5.6, because at this kind of range, I already know that if I use anything above that, it's going to get compressed to oblivion anyway, so it looks fine to me. Vertical composition, I did want it to horizontal. I might do that instead, but I'm not sure, because this actually conveys the scene and the doll a bit better compared to using horizontal, which kind of loses a bit of focus unless I use, say, f4 or f2.8, which is, as I said, a little bit too much for this scene. With the tripod inverted as always, 2 flashes this time, one right beside the camera, one over there, giving that bounce lighting on the face. I am using an ND filter, and as you can see, it is quite cloudy today. And you might ask me, hey, why are you still using that? Because everything is borderline. If I don't use an ND filter, I will have to crank the shutter up quite a lot, and if under any circumstances, the weather kind of gets a little bit more brighter or a little bit better. It kind of blows everything out in terms of exposure. So I think having the ND filter and cranking the ISO up just that little bit more could help a lot, because this is the R5, I can probably crank the ISO up to 3200 and nobody will bat an eye. So I think everything is fine. So without further ado, I think we should look at the shot. I would say, yeah, looks all right. Probably not as good as expected. And also, yes, a kid just walked right in front of the camera, so hopefully I could cut that out in the editing, but no promises. Either way, I am sweating like a pig because it is really, really hot, so I am probably going to go inside and see how I perform in there. Might do a bit of gimmick shot, if you get what I mean, but no promises. Let's go in. After a long sort of process, I have the second shot of this location set up. You might notice that I'm not at the same angle I just was, because when I was trying it out just now, I saw this blue billboard at the back, and it didn't matter if I was using, say, 70mm or 35 or bloody hell anything, honestly, it was still in the shot. And because I couldn't blow it out or edit it out, I just gave up and moved, say, a few meters this way. I had to sell everything, but I do think it's worth it. Although this one isn't exactly my best work, so I am not going to treat it as seriously as I typically do. I also have noise cancelling on this mic turned on, so hopefully you can hear me just well, because it's quite noisy in here. Speakers went above, everyone's talking, so hopefully you can hear me just fine. Anyway, enough rambling, let's take a look at what I'm using with this one. 15 to 35mm f2.8, because at this kind of range, you know, everything's right in front or at the back. I need as much background separation as I can get. I originally wanted to trap 7200, however, it seemed a bit too unnecessarily long at this kind of angle. Plus, with the doll head looking slightly downwards, I feel like a 70mm would just result in me just, you know, on the ground, because I have to be slightly further away from it. It's going to be hard to explain it, but I hope you do understand what I'm meaning. Vertical composition, yeah, I'm not taking this very seriously. I hope to focus on a doll instead of the whole scene, but it's more of a concept photo if anything. Lighting situation is quite complicated, to say the least. Allow me to explain. One light I'm going to be holding, say, around here or so. Another one right on top of the camera right here. This is just for the face in the eyes and the reflection, so hopefully it all looks fine. The flashes, however, they are in a way simulating what a brighter ceiling would look like, because it's quite dark in here, despite what it looks right here, and everything is a bit too dark behind it. So, although this is white on white, technically, you know, white hair, white background and all that, it's going to be difficult to differentiate and make it look balanced. So these two flashes on both sides are going to be kind of simulating what it's going to be with a very strong light source on the top. Hopefully it looks just fine. If not, I feel like editing and pull everything back in order, so I'm not really that concerned. However, there's one more thing I want to mention. The lights in here are just so green because they're all old and they have this underlying mold in the light. It's very hard to see with the human eye, but with a camera, you can see everything's kind of tinted along the lines of -5 between that to -10 on the green slider on the tint side. So I have to use a lot of editing to make this somewhat reddish in a way. So hopefully it looks fine. Anyway, without further ado, let's take a look at the shot. I would say it looks good enough. I'm not really sure, but I think it's good enough for what it is, because I'm pretty done with this place. Thankfully, there is an AC right here, so I get to drive all my sweat, and I feel a lot better. However, it's time for me to change this out and wait for the sunset, because I want a night photo outside this place. Alright, so I do not want to do one of those setup time lapses because there's going to be 3 or more in this video, and I do not want to bog you down with more. I feel like it's kind of a bit redundant, so here I am. I am just going to do a selfie style behind the scenes, and also because I don't think mounting this thing, even with a very lightweight tripod, on one of these poles is going to be a good idea. I don't think it's exactly very sturdy, and I don't think it's going to be particularly nice. So without further ado, let's take a look at what I'm using. 15-35 between 24 and 28 millimeter, because I am not arsed to do any more adjustments, because this thing right here, this has a sign or something, and it's going to be in the way of the light. I don't think it's a good idea to use Photoshop AI to say, Photoshop, is that the right word for it? Out this thing, because it doesn't do very well with lampposts and light reflections itself. So I am going to try and avoid it as much as possible. Horizontal composition, everything looks okay. I want as much light and as much bokeh as possible. So F2.8 as well, because it's also getting dark, and I am actually recording this before I actually take the shot. So hopefully it does all right. And everything's all right with one light on top of the camera. The other light, I forgot where it is. I'll say put it around here or so, giving the face a bit more, say, balanced light. I'm not really that concerned with it. It's just that the balance is going to be a bit off because there's only 2 light sources and they're not exactly very great. And I do not want to use flashes because this is a pitch black scene without any ceilings or nothing to do any reflections on. So flashes, not really, but maybe I might try something about that, who knows. I think that's about it. Everything is pretty stable and there's not exactly really that much wind here, so that's really good. So without further ado, let's take a look at the shot. And I would say, yeah, good enough for what it is. And yes, this is about all I will do for this place, so yeah, let's pack up. I'll be honest with you, I actually kind of almost forgot to shoot the yapping part at the end of every single bloody video. And if it wasn't obvious enough, yes, the first and second segments are completely different days, as indicated by, you know, my different shirt, the different doll, everything's different, and lack of another person. Actually, I'm not sure if he's going to be there for the first part of the video, because yes, I am shooting the second part in front of the first one. How smart of me. Because I want to do something different with that, and honestly speaking, I do kind of need a little break myself because I've been shooting non-stop in Sydney for a long time, and I do think I need some time away from everything else. If you haven't seen the behind the scenes, I really do recommend you go back and count how many people were looking at me when I was shooting and setting up the whole shot, because for some reason Hong Kong people are really curious about things. I guess this isn't something you see every day, but honestly, when I think about it, that actually goes for most people around the world. They just look and gossip at you and take photos of you and your entire setup anywhere around the world. Honestly, Australia, Japan or Hong Kong, doesn't really matter. So yeah, I will have to endure this for the next 6 months because I'm gonna be here for a while and won't be going back to Australia or Sydney for a long time. Not saying that that's a bad thing though. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed the newest video in Hong Kong. It's great being back here. I get to shoot something that's very different. I get to shoot things that are out of the ordinary, if anything, because Sydney doesn't really have any new installments. They have them once every 5 years or so. So yeah, I get to shoot something different, I get to do different things, and it's a lot more fun than just shooting the same thing over and over again. But anyways, thank you very much for watching the video to the absolute end. Like and subscribe if you want to see more of this garbage. Leave a comment down below, let me know what you think, and let me know what you want to see in Hong Kong, and I will see you next time. Lemon, out.